All right, everybody. Thank you for joining the CURC Community Conversation. Welcome. As more people file in, we're going to slowly to get things started to get this conversation going. The presentation is up. Hopefully you can see it. If you cannot, please let me know. Little housekeeping issues or details to get started. This meeting will be recorded. The recording will be shared on CURC's website at curc3r.org. Please remain muted during the presentation. Feel free to post questions in the chat at any time, or feel free to raise your hand to ask questions. And there will also be open conversation time towards the end of the meeting, where I think that will be the most dialogue between folks. So there will be time for that. Another thing too is I'm posting several links in the chat right now, so you can reference these links throughout the presentation for a number of the things that we're going to be talking about. All right, so to get things started, the community conversation is what we're calling our new members meeting. So the purpose of the community conversation is to inform the CURC community about past and future programs, and to gather feedback from the CURC community through our annual survey and dialogue, with the goal to update CURC's programs to fulfill the community's needs. So for today's agenda, we'll have several sections that we want to go over to update people, and then talk about where we get feedback from and what we're going to do going forward. So CURC 101. So if you're new to CURC, you don't know much about this organization, this provides a pretty quick overview of the nonprofit organization that we are. So CURC's mission is to connect and support people advancing sustainable materials management in higher education by fostering the exchange of best practices to achieve zero waste and promote a circular economy. The also known as the College University Recycling Coalition, we represent over 1,000 zero waste champions in higher education. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we're led by 13 board of directors that are also college and zero waste champions and university zero waste champions. We provide peer-to-peer programming to advance zero waste best practices, and one thing we want to stress is that this programming and resources that we offer to the community is free. If you know about CURC or you've been around for a while, you notice that previously we had a different look, we had a different brand. We have rebranded ourselves a bit. So the new logos that you'll see all look like this. So all future presentations, publications, websites, socials will have our new logo on it. So a 2024 year in review. We're just going to talk about all the programming and the things that we have done over the last year. As it relates to events and projects, we help support a survey for indoor waste diversion practices with Bush Systems. And at the ASHE conference and expo, we had a couple of presentations, as well as a CURC Zero Waste Coordinator social. So much of the stuff that we do is virtual, but when there are conferences such as ASHE or things that are in person, we do try to participate with different programming efforts. Our big deliverable and the things that folks know us most about is for our webinars. These are all the webinars that we did last year, and we hosted 6 of them, all on these different topics. And later in the presentation, we'll go over just how those presentations went. But you can always check out our website to see recordings of these websites if you didn't get a chance to see them in person. And we have a whole archive of all the webinars that we've done located on our website. For the board of directors, we wanted to welcome our 4 new board of directors who joined in July of 2024. We have Lindsay Hutchinson, Aspen Cody, Dave Smith, and Debbie Steinberg. They've been great additions to the team. So thank you all for joining and being a part and helping us with our efforts. As I mentioned, if I didn't mention, CURC is run by not only 13 board members, but they're 13 all volunteer board members. So which brings me to a topic I'd want to bring up and let everyone know about, that the board of directors application for our next term is up, it's open. The board of directors application is due on April 1st, if that's something you're interested in doing. And the start date of that would be July 1st of 2025. And the term consists of a 3-year term. Also, you can make it a 2-year term and a whole 6 years if you like. And full details and application form can be found on that link there. So as it relates to committees, we have 4 committees at CURC, and you do not need to be a board member to participate in 3 of those committees. So if you're interested in marketing, you're interested in webinar, you're interested in business and sponsorship, and you don't have the ability to be a full board member but still want to participate and volunteer, we are open to accepting folks in those committees. So our annual survey went out over the last month. And at this time, we typically look at that survey and talk through and figure out what we're going to be doing and planning for next year. So if you haven't already completed the annual survey, it's still open. You can do that. So with the links that I provided in the chat originally, you can find that link. Also, the link is still on our website on the homepage. So if you didn't get a chance to fill it out quite yet, feel free to do so, but I'll be going over the responses for those that have been submitted. So one of the questions that we asked was, what CURC resources do you find valuable? And as a percentage of respondents, we found that the webinars was the overwhelmingly the most valuable resource. Next was the Recycle listserv. Next was our newsletter, then resources on our website, and then networking at ASHE. So as it relates to webinars, this was the feedback from each individual webinar that we completed last year. As you'll see, there's no purple and there's no green, so that's really good. Everything was neutral or above, so in a lot of ways we're doing a great job. So we want to make sure that of the programming that we offer, that it fits what our constituents want, and the efforts programming the information that they want to see. So overall, I'm liking what I see, and that's due a lot part to all the great webinar committee that puts on these webinars. I'd also like to inform folks that if you didn't get a chance to see these webinars, we do have a webinar directory, and you can find them in 2 places. You can go on our YouTube channel and find all the past webinars that we've done, and we also have this archived on our website. When we asked folks about future webinar topics, these were the top 7 that were identified. First was lab waste reduction diversion programs. 2 was managing move-out waste. 3 was engaging custodial and environmental services team in sustainability work. 4 was eco reps and waste internships. 5 was understanding and tracking construction and demolition waste. And then followed up by reducing single-use plastic and developing plastic-free policies. And finally, developing effective waste signage. So these were the top 7 that were identified from the survey. The interesting part of how our webinars work is we, in order to do these webinars, we need both speakers, so people, university members, university and colleges members who have not only interest in this, but also have completed and done some really cool work and can share out their best practices to other colleges and universities. So really what we're asking for is, in those categories of these future webinar topics, if you're a part of a university or college who has done something really great here and would like to share, we highly encourage you to submit the speaker interest form to let us know that you want to present on that topic. And then also, if you happen to be a company or you worked with a company to help you complete the great work that you did on your campus, we're always looking for webinars and folks to sponsor each of our webinars. So we both have a speaker interest form and a webinar sponsor form on the website for that particular topic. And if I haven't said already, there's a place where you can find it on our website to find these forms. When we asked, do you feel welcome, respected, supported, and valued? Everyone said they did. So that's a great response from all those who have completed the survey. Now I'd like to just quickly talk about some upcoming programs that we have. The first one I'd like to highlight is next week, we're having a virtual vendor showcase where we're going to be hearing from 8 different organizations that are helping with zero waste efforts. So these are for-profit or nonprofit organizations that can provide assistance to universities and colleges. And if you're like me, who doesn't have a lot of time to hear about all these at one time, we're bringing them all together so that our community can see what's out there and to see if they want to follow up with a particular group. And we're hoping that this can be a program into the future. So highly encourage you to sign up if you haven't already signed up. And then the next webinar that we have is alternative framing for waste reduction and diversion, which will be on February 20th. So if more information will be on our website and in our socials about that upcoming webinar. Speaking of which, to stay informed, we have a Recycle listserv that you can subscribe to, and that's it's exactly what it is. It's a listserv that our community utilizes for a number of things, from job postings to sharing out webinar information, sharing out other programming. So it's one that allows our members to share a whole host of things and ideas. And also a lot of folks use it to ask questions where they have a specific topic that they want to know about, and then they use that to crowdsource that information. So similarly but different, we have an email distribution list that we send information out to let people know about the upcoming programmings, webinars, and other things that we're doing. So if you want to join the email distribution list, I welcome you to do that. And then we also have our social media platforms where you can also find this information. So now it's time for the conversation. So with that, does anyone have any questions for the board of directors who are well represented on this call today? Okie dokie, hearing none, I had some conversation starters all prepped. For those who have joined, one question that I wanted to know from folks was, what new programming can CURC offer to help your college and university?
Yeah, Travis, I'll chime in if I can. I don't know about new programming. I always think it's valuable, maybe for new members or new participants in the webinar who haven't been to a CURC webinar before. It might be worth thinking about revisiting topics from the past. I know, I mean, I can get sometimes lost in things I'm working on day to day and forget about things we talked about I mean, I know we've talked about it, Kirk, 3 to 5 years ago, and that may potentially be helpful to people that are just getting started in the field. That's one thing. And then the second one is maybe it's worth considering thinking about size of university or college and targeting a future webinar to a large or mid-size college university, or even at least for me, while we are a big community college, I mean, small community colleges have their own challenges.
Nice.
One thing that I've always thought about is whether it would be valuable to create sort of like one-pager toolkits or lessons learned that maybe start out from the webinars. And then maybe they could be created, on topics that have not been covered from the webinars yet, but it seems like we do have the webinars recorded, so people can always, go on and listen. But, I wonder if something like easy to just like, take a quick look at one pager that has some of those key takeaways and like linkable resources or something like that might be a nice way to kind of digest our valuable webinar content.
Yeah, it's a really good suggestion.
I think it's always helpful too to go back on the Recycle listserv. I'm not sure if new folks have access to like all of the past history, but to go back and search conversations that have happened there for resources as well.
Very cool. So, I mean, the one thing I want to make sure that everyone on this call has is that does everyone know how to access all these resources? And if they don't, we can, there's a lot of folks on this call that can help. But that's one thing that we want to make sure that it's very free and accessible, and anyone can, any college, university folks can easily get what they want, and also to keep our mission going.
One other thing that I and certainly don't want to duplicate what the Zero Waste Campus Council is already doing, but it kind of popped into my head. I recall Carly talking about I think attending the Boston ASHE and hosting a like sort of new into the field like meetup. And so I wonder if there would be opportunities to kind of have some cohorts. I mean, our tagline is a community of, professionals or champions. And maybe there is a good way to have some informal gatherings where there are some like veterans who are dealing with certain issues or challenges, new people into the field that are dealing with maybe different challenges. And I mean, not to say that they have to be separate all the time, but I just remember, I think it was Carly mentioning that that was sort of an affinity group that met up at ASHE in the past, and maybe there's some way we can facilitate more community conversations, but like more, a little less formal.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, this time is for everyone. So if I threw some of these for conversation starters, but I think as Leanna has brought up, there could be a lot of different things like that that we haven't considered. So if there's any thoughts or ideas, even if we've considered them or haven't considered them, I think this is a good time to bring that up. Okay, well, I don't want to stop anyone from moving on throughout their day. Uh, this is our opportunity to hold space. So I'm going to stay on for a long time for those who want to stay on and chat more directly. I do want to let folks know that there is a recap of upcoming events. So I really strongly encourage everyone to attend the virtual vendor showcase if you're looking at what resources are available to you from outside vendors. And then definitely jump on that next webinar. And then also, if you haven't completed the annual survey, that's a good way for us to, capture everyone's feedback as we went over today. We'll keep collecting more feedback and getting more responses. And then also, we're always looking for new board members, so please consider applying to become a board member, and that is due on April 1st. So again, thank you all for attending. So officially we'll be done, but I'll stay on. And if anyone else wants to stay on and have a more casual conversation about this, we'll, stop the recording and everything. We'll keep it in here. So again, thank you all for attending.